Hey guys, we're doing a series called Junie B. Jones. Tonight's book is called Junie B. First Grader Boss of Lunch. Certain changes have been made to make it more suitable for my audience. So if you're reading this book at home, you'll see that some words have been changed. Chapter 1, Not Normal. Dear First Grade Journal, hooray, hooray, it came. It finally came. Yesterday, the delivery man brought it right up to my house, and today I carried it to school for the very first time. Right now, it is sitting under my desk. I keep sneaking down there to see it closer, but my teacher just said to please stop doing that. Only guess what? He's not even watching me right now, so I think I'll sneak down there one more time, and that will be it, possibly. I wish myself good luck. From Junie B., first grader. I put down my pencil and looked all around. Room 1 was still writing in their journals. I smiled very sneaky, and then I bent over in my chair real slow, and I reached way down, and I lifted up the lid of my brand new, shiny lunchbox, hollered May. Junie Jones just opened her lunchbox again, Mr. Scary, and you told her not to do that anymore, remember? May is the tattletale girl who sits next to me. I don't actually care for her. My heart pounded very hard, and I bent over even more. I hid my head so my teacher couldn't see me. Only I didn't do a good job of hiding, I guess, because just then I heard Mr. Scary's shoes walking towards me. Junie B., why is your lunchbox open again? Asked Mr. Scary. Didn't I speak to you about this a few minutes ago? I kept my head down and I looked at the floor. One of Mr. Scary's shoes started tapping at me. Tappy shoes are not happy shoes, I think. Junie B., said Mr. Scary again. Do you have a good reason for opening your lunchbox again? I quick closed my eyes and tried to think of a good reason. Mr. Scary's shoes tapped louder. I opened my eyes and peeked at it, and then, bingo! All of a sudden, a miracle happened. One of my eyes saw my napkin in the corner of my lunchbox, and a bright idea popped right into my head. I quick grabbed the napkin, and I started shining Mr. Scary's shoes. Look, Mr. Scary, look. Here's my good reason, I said. See me? Huh? I am shining your shoes with my napkin. See? I shined and shined. This is the smartest reason I ever came up with, I said, very proud. I smiled up at him. Would you like some spit on the napkin? I asked real nice. A little spit makes shoes look extra clean. Mr. Scary quick pulled his shoe away. No, Junie B., no spit, please. Just sit up, he said. I sat up. Mr. Scary stared at me. I wiggled in my seat, very uncomfortable, because staring teachers make me squirmy, of course. Finally, Mr. Scary talked again. I want you to stay out of your lunchbox, Junie B., he said. We have a rule in room 1. Lunchboxes are to be opened only in the cafeteria. I did a sad sigh. Yes, I know the rule, Mr. Scary, but I waited a real long time to get this lunchbox, and yesterday it finally came to my house. And so today is my first day of not carrying a plain brown sack to school. And so every time I look at that new lunchbox, I feel happy inside. I picked it up to show him. See how cute it is, I said. My mother ordered it from a nature store. It has pictures of baby birds on it. See all of them? I pointed. This one is my favorite. I said, it's called an owlet. Owlet is the name for a baby owl. My grandpa Frank Miller told me that. I pointed at a different bird. That one is an eaglet, I said. An eaglet is a baby eagle. After that, I held my lunchbox way high in the air so all of room 1 could see it. See all the birdlets, children? There are owlets and eaglets and ducklets and chicklets, I explained. I put my lunchbox on my desk and I took out the thermos. And see the thermos, people? This thermos has pictures of birds' nests on it. Isn't that cute? May made a face. Ick, she said. Who wants to drink out of a stinky, pooey bird's nest? I made a face at her. I do, that's who. May. I said, I love drinking out of stinky, pooey bird's nest. May reached into her desk and pulled out a lunch ticket. Well, I buy my lunch, Junie Jones, she said. Bought lunches are much better than brought lunches. Bought lunches don't sit around all morning and get soggy. I crossed my arms at that girl. That is the craziest thing I ever heard of, May, I said right back. Brought lunches are way better than bought lunches because brought lunches are made special by our very own mothers. Mr. Scary did a frown. Okay, girls, that's enough, he said. But May kept on arguing with me. For your information, Junie Jones, mothers are not professional lunch makers, she said. Mothers are just plain old normal people. I stamped my foot at her because that was my final straw. Do not call my mother normal, May, I hollered. No one in my whole entire family is normal. So there. May started to laugh. Then some of the other children laughed too. I don't know why. Finally, Mr. Scary snapped his fingers at them. I put my lunchbox back on the floor. It was not my best morning. Chapter 2. Hoagies. The lunch bell rang at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is around noonish, I believe. I picked up my lunchbox and I ran to the door, and then I lined up with my friends and I waited to go. It's almost time, I told them, very thrilled. It's almost time for me to eat out of my brand new lunchbox. I held it up for them to see again. Which baby bird do you guys like the best? I asked. Pick one, okay? My friend named Jose looked at the birds and shrugged his shoulders. I don't know. I guess maybe I like the duck best, he said. Ducks can be funny sometimes. One time, when we were having a picnic at the lake, a duck chased my sister and stole her ho-ho. My friends Lenny and Herb laughed real hard. They looked at my lunchbox too. I think I like the owlet best, said Herb. Me too, said Lenny. I saw a TV show on owls once, and an owl swallowed a giant rat in just one bite. He didn't even chew or anything. After that, I stared at Lenny a real long time, because that disgusting story just ruined my owlet, that's why. Finally, all of room 1 walked to the cafeteria together. The cafeteria is a big room where we eat lunch. It has smells and noise and tables in it. Room 1 sits near the window. I zoomed there speedy quick. Come, Herb, I called. Come, Lenny. Come, Jose. It's time for you to watch me eat out of my new lunchbox. I turned around to wait for them. Only too bad for me because none of those guys were even coming. Instead, they were standing in the crazy lunch line. My mouth fell open at that sight. Herb! Hey, Herb, I called. What do you think you're doing? Why aren't you coming to eat with me? Herb shouted back, I'm buying my lunch today, Junie B. Jose shouted too. Me too. Everyone is buying today, Junie B. Hoagies. We're having hoagies, hollered Lenny. Save us a seat. My shoulders slumped real disappointed because I wasn't actually expecting this development. Sat down at my table and looked all around. There was only one other person sitting there. His name is Sheldon. I did not know him that good. Sheldon waved his fingers at me. We're the only ones here, he said. We're the only ones who didn't buy hoagies today. I did a sigh. Yes, Sheldon, I know that, I said. Sheldon slid across from me. Hoagies are very popular, but I'm not allowed to eat them, he said. I'm allergic to fake meat and cheese. I looked at Sheldon closer. His nose was running very much. Please wipe your nose, I said. Sheldon didn't pay attention to me. I'm only allowed to eat food that comes from nature, he said. His nose ran even more. Also, I'm allergic to dairy, he told me. I handed him my napkin. Blow, and I mean it, I said. Sheldon did not blow. I slid to the end of the table. Pretty soon my friends started coming out of the kitchen and the other children started coming too. They sat down and took big bites of their hoagies. Said Herb, this hoagie is delicious. Sí, said Jose. Muy delicioso. Lenny nodded. Then he opened up his hoagie roll and looked inside. I think even you would like this hoagie, Junie B, he said. Look, it's ham and salami and cheese and lettuce and tomato. Just then, May butted her big head in. It's good for you too, Junie Jones, she said. All school lunches have to be delicious and nutritious. It's the law. So, I said, so lunches brought from home can be any old thing, she said back. I did a huffy breath at her. Then I turned my back, and I hid my sandwich very secret, and I peeked inside the bread. I stared and stared for a real long time, because I didn't actually recognize the meat, that's why. Finally, I ate it anyway. It was tasty, whatever it was. Chapter 3, Cookies. I was the first one done with my lunch. That's because eating hoagies takes forever, of course. Put my lunchbox away and looked at Herb's plate. He had 3 more foods to go. First he had carrot sticks. Also he had applesauce and a cookie. I leaned in closer. I think that's a sugar cookie, Herbert. I said, sugar cookies are my favorite. Herb nodded. Me too, he said. I like sugar cookies too. I touched his cookie with my finger. Yes, sirree, Bob. That's a sugar cookie, all right, Herb, I said. I didn't get a cookie at all today. My mother packed me a fruit bar instead. Oh, said Herb. Well, fruit bars are good too. I tapped my fingers on the table. Because Herb didn't even get my hint. Yes, Herbert, I know fruit bars are good, I said. But I really wanted a cookie today. And so I wish you would just share that thing with me, and that's all. Herb looked at me and shrugged. Why didn't you just say so, he said. Then he broke his cookie in two, and he handed me half. I gushed real happy. Oh, thank you, Herb. Thank you, I said. After that, I stuffed the cookie right into my mouth, and I drank a sip of Herb's milk. Yum, that tasted just like the cookies that Mrs. Gutzman used to bring to afternoon kindergarten, I said. I smiled at the thought of that woman. Awesome. Gladys Gutzman was our snack lady last year. I explained to her. She used to bring us cookies and milk every week. I made my voice kind of quiet. Only guess what, Herbert? Sometimes Mrs. Gutzman gave me 2 cookies instead of 1, I said. Because I was her favorite person in room 9, I think. Jose heard what I said. Hey, that must mean I was her favorite in room 8, he said. Because sometimes Mrs. Gutzman gave me an extra cookie too. After that, me and Jose did a high five. Because both of us were favorites, apparently. That woman was a gem, I tell you, I said. What do you mean she was a gem, Junie B? Said Jose. She still is a gem. Mrs. Gutzman still works here, you know. What? I said, surprised. Sure she does, said Herb. I met Mrs. Gutzman this year already. She works right there in the kitchen. I couldn't believe my ears. Really, I said. Really? Because if Mrs. Gutzman still works at our school, how come she hasn't brought us milk and cookies this year? Herb shrugged. I don't know, he said, but she still works here, all right. In fact, we saw her just now when we were getting our hoagies. I put my hand over my mouth, because that news was too good to be true. Jose laughed. If you don't believe us, go see for yourself, he said. I will, Jose. I will go see for myself, I said real joyful. Then I jumped right out of my seat and I zoomed in the kitchen and I hollered and hollered for Mrs. Gutzman.